What if the person you're choosing to spend the rest of your life with isn't the one God designed for you? Have you ever stopped to think about how much choosing the right partner can affect your entire future? It's more than just a feeling. It's about finding someone who aligns with God's purpose for you and for your life. In today's world, we're faced with endless choices, but only one partner truly fits the path that God has planned. So, how do you make the right choice? Let's dive into what choosing a partner God's way really looks like, and why it could be the most important decision you ever make. When it comes to choosing the right partner, we often hear about love, attraction, and compatibility. But what if there's a bigger picture to consider? What if your decision about who to spend your life with isn't just about your happiness, or finding someone who checks off all the boxes on your list? God's way of choosing a partner goes far beyond the surface. It's about understanding His purpose for relationships and trusting that He knows exactly who you need, not just who you want. In this video, we're going to dive deep into how to make the decision that aligns with God's will. We'll explore how the Bible defines a godly partner, how you can trust God's plan, and how you can be sure that the relationship you're building honors Him. If you're serious about making this decision the right way, keep watching, because what you're about to learn could transform the way you approach relationships forever. God's design for relationships is beautiful, intentional, and rooted in His love for us. From the very beginning, in the Garden of Eden, God created man and woman to complement each other perfectly. He didn't create us to walk alone. In Genesis 2:18, God says, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." This is a reminder that God's intention for relationships is rooted in partnership, companionship, and unity. He didn't create us to simply pair off randomly. There's a deeper purpose in relationships. The union between a man and woman reflects God's relationship with His church, a love that is sacrificial, unconditional, and filled with grace. When we choose a partner according to God's design, it's not about fulfilling a need or completing ourselves. Instead, it's about finding someone who aligns with God's purpose for both of us. Relationships are meant to reflect God's love, to bring glory to Him, and to support one another in our walks with Him. The bond is meant to strengthen us, not just emotionally or physically, but spiritually. As we grow together in faith, face challenges together, and build a life that honors God. When we understand God's design for relationships, it changes everything. It moves the focus from what we can get out of the relationship to what God can do through it. The right partner is someone who will help you grow closer to God, support your faith, and be a part of His greater purpose for your life. God's plan for relationships is about much more than just finding someone you click with. It's about building a partnership that honors Him and fulfills His greater purpose for both of you. Choosing the right partner starts with one fundamental element: faith. God doesn't just care about whether someone looks good on paper or shares your interests. He cares about the spiritual foundation of your relationship. A partnership built on shared faith is like a house built on a rock. It's strong, steady, and unshakable. When you're looking for a partner, it's essential to ask yourself, is this person someone who will lead me closer to God? Someone who shares your faith is going to be more aligned with your core values, your purpose in life, and your goals as a couple. Think about it. When life gets tough, when you face trials, or when you hit roadblocks, the foundation of your relationship needs to be something stronger than just love or attraction. It needs to be God. In 2 Corinthians chapter 6:14, we are told, "Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers." This doesn't just refer to someone's ability to attend church with you. It speaks to the alignment of your spiritual journeys. If your partner doesn't have the same faith or commitment to God as you do, it will be difficult for both of you to grow together spiritually. Spiritual unity in a relationship creates a bond that goes beyond what you can see or feel. It's a bond that connects you both to God's greater plan for your lives. The role of faith in choosing a partner isn't just about attending church together or praying once in a while. It's about making sure that your partner's relationship with God is a priority, and that you both are willing to support each other in your individual walks with Christ. A partnership based on shared faith strengthens both individuals, and together you can become a stronger reflection of God's love. When we look at the Bible, we find so many examples of relationships that reflect God's purpose. These relationships teach us what it looks like to choose a partner based on faith and purpose, not just feelings or convenience. Let's take a look at a few key examples of godly relationships in the Bible. First, we have Adam and Eve, the very first marriage. God created Eve to be Adam's helper and companion, and their relationship was one of partnership and unity. In Genesis 2:24 we read, "That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh." From the beginning, God designed marriage to be a sacred bond between two people who are united in their love for each other and for God. Adam and Eve's relationship shows us that marriage isn't just about finding someone who meets our needs. It's about forming a partnership where both individuals complement each other and help each other grow in their walk with God. Another powerful example is the story of Ruth and Boaz. Ruth's story is one of loyalty, faith, and trust in God's timing. After losing her husband, Ruth chose to stay with her mother-in-law Naomi and embrace Naomi's God. Ruth's faithfulness to Naomi and to God led her to Boaz, a man of integrity and character who became her kinsman redeemer. Ruth and Boaz's relationship is a beautiful example of God bringing two people together who were both faithful to Him, and their story shows us that when we trust God's timing and seek His guidance, He will bring the right person into our lives. Then there's Joseph and Mary. Their relationship was founded on faith, trust, and obedience to God's will. When Joseph learned that Mary was pregnant, he didn't make assumptions or act out of anger. Instead, he sought God's direction through a dream and chose to marry Mary, believing in the miracle that God had planned. Joseph and Mary's relationship reminds us that choosing the right partner is about trusting God's plan, even when it's difficult to understand, and being willing to support each other through life's challenges. These examples show us that God's way of choosing a partner isn't about rushing into a relationship or focusing solely on chemistry. It's about looking for someone who shares your faith, values, and purpose. When we look at these biblical couples, we see a pattern. They were all committed to God first and to each other second. They weren't perfect, but they trusted in God's plan, and their relationships were blessed because of it. The purpose of marriage, as defined in the Bible, goes far beyond simply being in a relationship or having a companion. It's about fulfilling God's plan, reflecting His love, and showing the world the kind of relationship He has with His people. Marriage isn't just for our benefit. It's a picture of the relationship between Christ and the church. In Ephesians 5:25, the Bible tells us, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave Himself up for her." This is the ultimate model for marriage: selfless love, sacrifice, and commitment. A godly marriage reflects the sacrificial love that Christ has for his people, where both spouses put each other's needs before their own. It's a partnership that's meant to be built on trust, mutual respect, and a shared devotion to God's will. Marriage is also meant to help us grow. In the context of a godly relationship, you're not just choosing a partner for today, but for a lifetime. A good marriage encourages you to grow in character, faith, and love. It helps you become more like Christ as you learn to serve, forgive, and love sacrificially. It's a refining process, one that challenges you, strengthens you, and deepens your relationship with God and with each other. Furthermore, marriage is a place where both partners support each other in fulfilling their individual callings. Whether it's in ministry, family, or work, a godly marriage allows both people to pursue their God-given purpose with the support and encouragement of their partner. It's not about one person holding the other back, but about working together to accomplish what God has set before both of you. Marriage isn't just about what you get from it. It's about how you both can serve God together, reflect His glory, and help each other live out His plan for your lives. In choosing a partner, understanding this purpose is crucial. It helps you realize that marriage is not just a union of two people, but a union of two people who are committed to growing together in faith and fulfilling God's purpose for them both. When you choose a partner with this understanding, you're not just looking for someone to spend your life with. You're looking for someone to partner with in fulfilling the calling God has placed on both of your lives. When it comes to choosing a partner, there are certain qualities that are essential if you're seeking a relationship that honors God. It's not about finding someone who is perfect, because no one is. It's about looking for the right character traits that align with God's will and will help you grow both as individuals and as a couple. First, look for someone who has a heart for God. A person who truly loves the Lord will have the foundation that makes any relationship solid. They'll seek God in their decisions, in their actions, and in their everyday lives. Someone who is rooted in their faith will be able to lead and love you in the way God intended. Second, integrity is key. Integrity is about being honest, trustworthy, and consistent in one's actions. It means being the same person in private as you are in public. When choosing a partner, you want someone whose actions align with their words. A person of integrity will be dependable, supportive, and faithful, and they will create a relationship built on trust. Kindness is another essential quality. A godly partner will show kindness, not just in words but in actions. They will be patient, compassionate, and gentle, especially when challenges arise. Love in a relationship isn't just about grand gestures. It's about the little everyday acts of kindness that make someone feel valued and cared for. A kind partner will encourage you to be the best version of yourself and will always make you feel loved and respected. Humility is crucial too. Humility isn't about thinking less of yourself. It's about thinking of yourself less. A humble partner will put others before themselves. They'll be willing to listen and learn, and they won't hold on to pride when conflicts arise. In marriage, both partners need to be willing to apologize, forgive, and grow together, which is only possible when there's humility. Another important quality is emotional maturity. A godly partner is someone who can manage their emotions and react thoughtfully, not out of anger or fear. They understand that communication is key to resolving conflict, and they're willing to work through challenges with patience and understanding. Emotional maturity allows a relationship to thrive, as it enables both people to approach life's ups and downs with a level head and a compassionate heart. Lastly, look for someone who is committed to growth. A person who is always striving to be more like Christ and is open to personal growth will help create a marriage that grows with time. They'll support you in your own growth and encourage you to become a better version of yourself, just as you'll do the same for them. When you choose a partner who embodies these qualities, you're not just choosing someone who will make you happy for a season. You're choosing someone who will walk with you in faith, support you, and help you fulfill God's purpose for your life. These are the traits that create lasting, godly relationships. When it comes to choosing a partner, we often let our emotions guide us, but making decisions based purely on feelings can lead to mistakes. One of the most common errors people make is rushing into relationships without truly seeking God's guidance. It's easy to be swept away by attraction or the excitement of a new connection, but those initial sparks can sometimes cloud our judgment. If we rely solely on chemistry or emotional impulses, we may overlook red flags that, in the long run, can lead to a partnership that isn't aligned with God's purpose. Another mistake is ignoring the importance of shared values and beliefs. Sometimes, we can be so focused on external qualities, such as appearance, status, or charm, that we overlook the deeper, more important aspects of compatibility. It's crucial to remember that a relationship built on attraction alone will not stand the test of time. If the foundation isn't grounded in shared faith, values, and mutual respect, the relationship will likely falter when challenges arise. That's why seeking someone who shares your vision for life and faith is so important. A third mistake is settling for less than God's best. It can be tempting to settle for a relationship out of fear of being alone or out of pressure to find someone quickly. But when we rush into a relationship because of insecurity or impatience, we miss out on the opportunity to let God bring the right person into our lives at the right time. Settling often means compromising on the qualities that matter most, qualities that will contribute to a long-lasting and godly partnership. Another common pitfall is being unwilling to let go of past baggage. If you enter a new relationship carrying unresolved hurt, past mistakes, or unhealthy patterns from previous relationships, it can affect how you relate to your new partner. Healing and emotional growth are essential before entering a new partnership, as they allow you to approach your relationship with a clean slate, ready to build a future together. Without healing, you may bring in negative behaviors or expectations that don't reflect the love and grace God wants to pour into your relationship. Lastly, there's the mistake of not seeking counsel from others, especially from trusted mentors, leaders, or people who have walked with God. Often, we believe we can figure it all out on our own, but God has placed people in our lives to offer guidance and wisdom. Seeking counsel allows you to gain perspective on your relationship, ensuring that your decisions align with God's will. Whether it's a close friend, a family member, or a spiritual advisor, having people who can give you godly advice can make all the difference in helping you make wise, informed choices. Choosing a partner. God's way requires patience, discernment, and a willingness to trust His timing. It's important to learn from these common mistakes. Take time to evaluate your choices, and always seek God's guidance before moving forward in a relationship. By doing so, you're building a strong foundation for a partnership that honors Him and stands the test of time. One of the most powerful tools God has given us when choosing a partner is prayer. Prayer isn't just a way to ask God for what we want. It's an opportunity to align our hearts with His will. It's essential to take time to seek God's guidance in prayer, asking Him to reveal His plans for your life and to guide your heart toward the right person. Prayer allows us to listen to God's voice, to quiet our own desires, and to be open to what He has in store for us. Asking God for wisdom in choosing a partner is not just about finding someone who is a good match for us. It's about asking God to show us His best for us. James 1:5 tells us, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. This verse reassures us that God wants to guide us in every area of our lives, including relationships. When we pray about our relationships, we open the door for God to speak into our hearts and reveal things that we might not have seen otherwise. But prayer also requires patience. We live in a world that wants everything immediately, and it's easy to get frustrated when God doesn't provide instant answers. But remember, God's timing is perfect. He knows exactly when the right partner will come into your life. Sometimes, the waiting process is just as important as the final answer, because it teaches us to trust God, to rely on His timing, and to grow in our relationship with Him while we wait. Praying for your future partner is just as important as praying for yourself. Asking God to prepare both your heart and your partner's heart helps ensure that both of you are ready to meet each other at the right time. Pray that God would strengthen both of you in your walk with Him, that He would help you grow in character, and that He would lead you both to a place where you're ready to support and build each other up in a relationship that honors Him. Another key aspect of prayer is surrender. We must be willing to surrender our desires, our expectations, and our timeline to God. Sometimes, we may have a vision of the kind of partner we want, but that vision may not align with God's plan. When we surrender our hopes to God, we trust that His plan is better than anything we could imagine. It's in this surrender that we experience true peace and trust in His provision. Ultimately, prayer is a constant dialogue with God. It's not just something we do once and forget about. It's an ongoing process. As you navigate the journey of finding the right partner, continue praying, continue seeking God's direction, and trust that He is guiding you every step of the way. God's desire is for you to have a relationship that reflects His love, and prayer helps keep that goal at the forefront of your heart. Building a relationship that honors God is not a one-time decision, but a continuous process. It requires intentional effort, mutual respect, and a willingness to put God at the center. When both partners commit to building a relationship based on God's principles, it creates a strong foundation that can withstand the challenges that come with any relationship. One of the most important aspects of building a God-honoring relationship is communication. God calls us to love each other with open hearts, which means we need to be able to speak openly and honestly with our partner. This doesn't mean saying everything that comes to mind, but rather communicating in a way that builds up rather than tears down. In Ephesians 4:29, we're reminded, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." Communication isn't just about talking. It's about listening, understanding, and responding with kindness and respect. Another key element of building a relationship that honors God is mutual submission. This might sound countercultural, but it's what God calls us to do. In Ephesians 5:21 it says, "Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ." This is not about one person being superior to the other, but about both partners choosing to honor and serve one another. In a healthy, God-centered relationship, both partners are committed to serving each other's needs and putting each other first. This is what builds true intimacy and trust, knowing that you have a partner who is looking out for your best interests and is willing to sacrifice for you, just as Christ sacrificed for the church. Forgiveness is another foundational element. No one is perfect, and every relationship will face challenges. But when you have a relationship built on God's love, you have a model for how to forgive one another. In Colossians 3:13 it says, "Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you." Forgiveness isn't just about letting go of small misunderstandings. It's about choosing to heal and move forward, even when mistakes are made. Building a relationship based on grace and forgiveness reflects the heart of God's love for us. Finally, it's important to make your relationship a priority. Relationships require time and attention, and they flourish when you invest in them. Spending time together in prayer, worship, and studying the Word strengthens the bond between partners and helps you both grow spiritually. A relationship that honors God is one where both individuals are committed to growing in their faith together. This doesn't mean perfection, but it does mean a shared desire to become more like Christ and to support each other in that journey. When you build your relationship on God's principles, communication, submission, forgiveness, and mutual growth, it creates a strong foundation that can stand the test of time. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. A relationship that honors God doesn't just bring joy and fulfillment, it brings glory to Him. And in that, you both find the true purpose and joy that God intended for your partnership. When you're in a relationship that honors God, there are clear signs that show it's aligned with His will. These signs are like markers that confirm you're walking the path He intended for both of you. It's easy to get swept up in emotions, but paying attention to the way your relationship develops spiritually and emotionally can help you discern whether you're on the right track. One of the first signs is peace. God often gives us peace when we're in alignment with His will. Philippians 4:7 tells us that God's peace transcends all understanding. In a healthy relationship, there's a sense of calm and assurance that you're both walking in the direction He has set for you. This doesn't mean that challenges won't come, but it means that deep down, you know you're in the right relationship. You both have a sense of comfort and peace, even when faced with difficulties, because you know that God is guiding you. Another important sign is growth. When you're in a relationship that honors God, both of you should be growing in your faith. A relationship rooted in God will challenge you to become better versions of yourselves, spiritually, emotionally, and personally. You should be able to look at each other and see positive changes. You're not just growing individually, but as a couple, you support each other's spiritual growth, encourage each other in your personal walks with God, and help each other overcome obstacles with grace and perseverance. If your relationship is helping both of you grow in Christ, it's a strong sign that you're on the right path. Mutual respect and trust are also signs of a relationship that honors God. When both partners truly value and respect each other, it creates an environment of trust and safety. You don't feel the need to control or manipulate each other because you know that each person is respected and loved unconditionally. This respect isn't just for each other. It's a reflection of the respect you have for God. When you honor God, you honor each other in the same way. Trust builds over time, and it becomes a cornerstone of your relationship. You're able to confide in each other, make decisions together, and face life's challenges as a united team because you trust each other completely. Another sign is a shared vision. If your relationship honors God, you should be able to align on your future plans, dreams, and goals. Whether it's about family, career, ministry, or personal aspirations, you should both be moving toward the same direction in life. Amos 3:3 says, "Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" A shared vision doesn't mean you have to agree on every little detail, but your overarching goals, values, and priorities should be in sync. When you have a shared vision, you're able to support each other's dreams, help each other grow, and build a future that reflects God's purpose for your lives. Finally, one of the most important signs is how your relationship reflects God's love. As a couple, You should be able to love each other selflessly, just as Christ loves the church. This kind of love is sacrificial, patient, kind, and forgiving. If your relationship is full of love that reflects the character of Christ, then you know you're on the right track. Love should be the foundation of everything you do together. It's not about just loving each other when things are easy. It's about loving each other in the tough times, forgiving each other when you mess up, and continually choosing each other every day. When you see these signs, peace, growth, respect, trust, a shared vision, and a deep love, it's clear that you're in a relationship that honors God. These signs are the fruit of a relationship that is rooted in faith and guided by God's will. If you're experiencing these in your relationship, it's a strong indication that you're on the right path and that God is at the center, guiding and strengthening both of you as you walk together. Choosing the right partner isn't always easy. There are countless challenges and obstacles that can make the process feel overwhelming or unclear. One of the biggest hurdles is the pressure to make a quick decision. Society often pushes the idea that you should find a partner as quickly as possible, especially as you get older, or if you're facing cultural or family expectations. This can lead to rushing into relationships without truly allowing God to guide the process. Another challenge is fear. Fear of being alone, fear of making the wrong choice, and fear of missing out can cloud your judgment and lead you to settle for less than God's best. It's important to recognize that fear is not from God. He doesn't want us to make decisions based on fear, but rather on faith, trust, and His perfect timing. Trusting God with the timing of your relationship can be difficult, but it's crucial for building a healthy, lasting relationship. When you place your trust in Him and let go of the fear of being alone, you open yourself up to the right relationship at the right time. Another common challenge is unresolved past issues. Many people carry emotional baggage from past relationships or hurts that can affect their ability to trust or love in a healthy way. If you're still carrying unresolved pain or bitterness, it can impact the choices you make when it comes to choosing a partner. It's essential to allow God to heal these areas of your life before you enter into a new relationship. The Bible encourages us to forgive others and to let go of past hurts, so we can enter into relationships with a clean heart and the ability to love freely and fully. Additionally, the challenge of knowing if someone truly is the right partner can be overwhelming. Sometimes, the excitement of a new relationship or the chemistry you feel can make it hard to discern whether this person is truly aligned with God's will for your life. It's important to take the time to seek God's guidance, pray, and reflect. Don't just rely on your feelings or emotions to make this decision. Seek the advice of trusted mentors, pastors, or family members who can offer godly counsel. Allow God's peace to guide your heart and mind in the decision-making process. Cultural pressures can also present a significant challenge, depending on where you come from. There may be certain expectations about who you should marry or what qualities they should have. These cultural expectations can sometimes conflict with what God is leading you toward. It's important to remember that your relationship with God and His guidance should always come first, even if it goes against cultural norms. It's better to follow God's plan, even if it doesn't fit with what others expect, than to make a decision based on outside pressure. Finally, there's the challenge of personal growth. A healthy relationship requires two people who are both committed to growing in their faith and character. If you're not fully focused on your own relationship with God and personal growth, you may find it difficult to connect with someone who is also growing spiritually. Before entering into a relationship, make sure you're in a place where you're spiritually healthy and open to learning and growing with your partner. It's not just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person yourself. Navigating these challenges requires patience, prayer, and a willingness to trust God's plan. It's easy to get distracted by the noise of the world, but when you keep your eyes fixed on God, He will lead you to the right person at the right time. Through prayer, wise counsel, and faith in God's timing, you'll be able to overcome these challenges and choose a partner who is truly in alignment with His will. Trusting God's timing is one of the hardest yet most rewarding aspects of choosing the right partner. It's easy to get impatient, especially when you see others around you in relationships, or when you feel like you've been waiting forever for the right person to come along. But one of the most important truths we must remember is that God's timing is perfect. It's not always on our timeline, but it's always for our good. When we try to rush the process, we're essentially telling God that we don't trust His timing, or worse, that we think we know better than He does. But the truth is, God knows what's best for us, and He has a plan that is greater than anything we could imagine. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us that God's plans for us are for good, not for harm, and that He has a future and a hope prepared for us. This includes our relationships. Trusting in His timing means knowing that He is preparing us and our future partner for the right moment when the relationship will flourish. When waiting on God's timing also allows us to grow in ways that we might not if we were rushing into a relationship. During this time, God can work on our hearts, strengthen our faith, and prepare us to be the kind of partner He wants us to be. If we rush into relationships before we are spiritually and emotionally ready, we may end up choosing someone who doesn't align with God's will, or trying to force a relationship to work that was never meant to be. But when we wait for God's perfect timing, we are not only prepared for the relationship, but we are also in the right place to receive the blessings He has for us. Additionally, trusting God's timing means learning to be content in the waiting. It's not easy to wait, and it's natural to feel lonely or frustrated during the process. But God calls us to find our contentment in Him, not in a relationship. Psalm 37:4 says, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." This doesn't mean that God will just give us everything we want, but that as we delight in Him, He will align our desires with His. The more we focus on growing our relationship with God and trusting Him with the timing of our life, the more we'll be able to handle the waiting with patience and peace. Finally, trusting God's timing means acknowledging that His plan is always better than our own. We may have our own ideas of what the perfect partner looks like, or when the right time should come, but God knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows the desires of our hearts, and He knows exactly what we need. Trusting in His timing means having faith that He will bring the right person into our lives at the right time, someone who will help us grow, support us, and ultimately help us fulfill His purpose for our lives. Waiting on God's timing is not passive, it's an active trust in His perfect plan. It's a reminder that He is in control, and that when we follow His lead, we can be confident that He will bring us the partner who is right for us, in the right season and at the right time. Dating with intention is key to building a relationship that honors God. It's not about dating just for the sake of being in a relationship or for the excitement of a new romance. Instead, dating should have a purpose, to see if the other person is truly aligned with your values, your faith, and God's will for your life. Dating in this way means taking it seriously and being mindful of your actions, your words, and your heart. One of the most important aspects of dating with intention is to make sure you're dating for the right reasons. Ask yourself, why am I dating this person? If your reason is based solely on attraction or loneliness, it might be time to take a step back and reevaluate. It's important that your reasons align with God's purpose for relationships, to grow together in faith, to support each other, and to eventually lead toward marriage, if God wills it. Dating should be a time of learning and growing, not just a way to pass the time or fill a void. As you date, it's important to be intentional about getting to know each other in all aspects of life: spiritual, emotional, and practical. Don't rush to the next step too quickly. Take the time to truly understand each other's beliefs, values, and goals. A relationship built on shallow conversations or surface-level attraction will not stand the test of time. But when you date intentionally, you are intentionally seeking to understand if this person is truly someone who aligns with your future, your purpose, and your commitment to God. Accountability is another critical factor when dating with intention. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of a new relationship, but having accountability in place can keep you focused on what truly matters. Having friends, family, or mentors who are willing to speak into your relationship and offer guidance is invaluable. They can help point out red flags that you might miss when emotions are involved, and they can remind you of your boundaries and God's best for your life. Be open to their advice, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Setting clear boundaries is also essential when dating with intention. Physical boundaries are often what people think about first, but emotional and spiritual boundaries are just as important. Guard your heart and your time, and make sure that you're not compromising on the values that matter most to you. When you set boundaries based on what God desires for you, you're creating a relationship that honors Him and protects both of you from potential pitfalls. Boundaries allow you to focus on building a solid foundation, where both partners are getting to know each other deeply and not rushing into a commitment before it's time. Finally, remember that dating with intention is not about perfection. You won't always get it right, and your partner won't be perfect either. The goal isn't to find someone flawless, but to find someone whose heart is aligned with God's, someone who is committed to growing in faith, love, and character. It's about being intentional in your actions, decisions, and goals, while trusting that God will guide you both along the way. Dating with intention is a powerful way to honor God in your relationship. It ensures that you're not wasting time, but are instead building a relationship that reflects His love and plan for your life. So, before you enter any relationship, ask yourself, is this person someone who will help me grow in my faith? Is this relationship building towards something that honors God? If so, you're on the right path. Keep dating with purpose, and trust God to guide you toward the right partner. If you're ready to dive deeper into how to live out these principles in your own life and relationship, don't miss our next video. It's time to take the next step in trusting God's plan for your future. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned, because what you've just learned is only the beginning. God has amazing things in store for you, and we'll walk through it together.